as you stated, your administration has embarked on this land release program for affordable housing. So cities like Barcelona in Spain, I mean, they've been very innovative in utilizing parking lots for housing. Do you think this is something that is possible here in Western Cape?
Yes. I always tell my team it's a sin to have a big open parking lot in the middle of the city. You can't have that. No city of the future has that. It's just too precious, the land that it's taking up. So high up on our lists that we go through every month are all of those big parking lots. Not all of them can be turned into social housing, and I think this is maybe where sometimes we've had a point of difference with NU. For example, the one in District 6, there's a big parking lot. The community there is very keen to have that turned into a public open space, a park. But it's a very big piece of land. So, there we've got to take into account community considerations, and maybe it is best for the future of District 6, when it's fully built up and there's flats everywhere, to have a public open space in the middle where people can relax. So, but in general, your principled point, I agree that in a modern city where land is at a premium, it's extremely expensive, and you need to bring down the cost of accommodation, you need to deliver more social housing. You can't be having massive parking lots in the middle of a city.
To be a little bit more specific as well, and thanks for that response. National Parliament, just opposite the Parliament, there's a whole...
Yes, Newmeester. Yes, I keep telling them they must develop it. Of course, it belongs to National Parliament, of course, but it's a massive piece of land. I think they have a plan to build part of the new Parliament once they rebuild the Parliament, if they ever start, after it burnt down. They want to move some of the offices to that's what I've heard.
Oh, okay.
But obviously that's their decision. But if they'd like to give it to me, I'll happily release it for social housing. It would be wonderful.
And maybe, what about the top yard, the car storage? I think it's provincial.
Provincial government. Again, that's very, very valuable, and I think in future it must be developed. I would need to check. That's the one on Buitenkant. On
Buitenkant Street.
Yes. I would need to check with my provincial colleagues as to their plans to release it. But again, I mean, to have an enormous parking lot to store cars in the middle of the city, that can move elsewhere, move outside of the city. We've got to release properties like that. I do think that it is in their plans to do so.
Yeah. Mr. Hiluis, I would love for this conversation to continue because it makes me feel a little bit more optimistic.
Oh, good.
About,
good.
This inner city development. But I would like to thank you for your time.
Thank you.
And probably we'll have more engagements like this.
Super. Thank you very much, Kenneth.
Thank you.
Cheers.